Thank you to Cheeseballs for sponsoring this video. Hello everyone and welcome back. In this video we're going to be time traveling back in time to shoot some expired film. So back in early March I traveled to New York City where I shot an expired roll of Redscale film. Redscale film, for those of you who don't know, is when you shoot film backwards basically. So instead of shooting on the emulsion side like you normally would, you shoot it backwards. You pretty much expose on the back side of the film and you somehow get a red image. There's a much more scientific explanation to this, but I suck at explaining things, so I'm probably gonna throw something up on the screen and you're supposed to pause now. Now, before I show you the clip of me shooting this film, I do need to mention that this roll was expired and I had to be upfront about it. These photos are heavily edited. I pretty much attempted to color correct Redscale. That was my goal for these photos. But I accidentally created a very interesting look. Now later on in the video I will be showing you how to make your own Redscale film at home. It's pretty simple, you don't need any fancy equipment or anything like that, so make sure you stick around to the end. Without any further ado, here's what life used to look like before the pandemic. Now the photos that you just saw there are not straight out of the camera, and honestly since I was shooting Redscale already, I obviously didn't expect true to life results. I expected red results, but I didn't like the red results, so I heavily edited them. Now I'm going to let you guys judge for yourselves. Here's some of the before and after of the photos that I shot in this video. I definitely changed these photos up to, you know, kind of make them a little bit more appealing. This thing is about to fall off. But yeah, and honestly, I think that's the whole point of Redscale film, is to really just experiment. You can even experiment with your results in camera by overexposing it by a few more stops. The more stops you overexpose it, the more creative the results are. I've actually shot Redscale film before at ISO 25 and the results were definitely interesting. Now if you're more of a straight out of the camera person, you can definitely expect results such as this. also want to briefly mention that one of my favorite photos that I've ever taken is actually shot on Redscale. It's this photo that I shot in a museum in Denver, Colorado, and I shot it with a underwater point and shoot camera that I bought for $1 at the thrift shop. So I clearly don't have a problem with the Redscale look. I just didn't really like the results that I got out in New York City with this film, so I kind of just, you know, changed it up a bit, you know, only a little bit, not too much. So if you're curious to see what results you could get, I'm now going to show you how to make your own Redscale film. We're going to start off by grabbing a roll of film that you want to Redscale. In this case, I'm going to Redscale a roll of Kodak Gold 200. So now you're going to need a pair of scissors, some tape. You're also going to need a discarded roll of film. As you can see here, this is a roll of Superior 400 that's been developed already. It just has this little end tail hanging out, so this is what you're going to need. So for this next step, you will have to be in complete and total darkness, either a closet or a room with no windows. Just want to make sure there's no lights at all. So we're going to start off by cutting off the lead here. You don't have to cut too much. I usually just cut in the first sprocket. After you do that, you want to grab your discarded canister here, and you basically want to conjoin the two films. You want to make sure that both film tips are facing the same direction. You essentially want both emulsions touching each other. Grab a piece of tape and just put it on top. Try to align it as best as you can. Doesn't have to be perfect, just make sure it's a straight line. Now once you have the first side taped, you do want to make sure that you tape the other side just for extra precaution. Once both sides are taped, you basically want to just roll in the film because it will be a little stiff at first. In this case, we're going to roll it into the Fuji Superior 400. Now I remind you, this is the part where you want to be in complete darkness. And after you're in complete darkness, you essentially just want to start rolling your film. You basically want to roll it until you can't roll it anymore. So now I successfully transferred this over. I know that because I can't reel in the film anymore. So now what I do is I pull the film a little outwards. After you do that, you want to take your scissors and you pretty much want to cut the film off. So this canister is now the old canister that we took the film out of, and this is the new canister. So as you can see here, the film is essentially backwards here. You see the film emulsion on the opposite side as you would. Pretty much what you want to do now is you want to grab your scissors and make your own film leader. Now I usually just cut right in the middle, just like that. And then I just rip it apart. And there you have it, a film lead. Now you can always round out the edges just to make it a little bit more smoother. So if you notice, the film actually curls the wrong way here, which may make it difficult for you to load it into your film camera later on. So what you want to do is that you actually want to bend your film so it curls. What I actually do is kind of bend it like so to help it decurl even faster. As you can see, it's already starting to decurl. However, I do need to bend it a little bit more. Another thing that I like to do is I like to wrap the film around itself. And then I put it inside this plastic canister, which I then leave overnight, and then when I wake up in the morning, the film is completely flat. So as you can see here, the film is starting to look a little bit more not curly. So this is a good sign. Honestly, I think this is good enough for you to just roll inside of the camera. Now you do want to remember the original ISO you had. In my case, I used a Kodak Gold 200, so mine was ISO 200, which means I'll have to shoot this at ISO 100. When it comes to Redscale, you do need to overexpose by at least one stop. But of course, like I mentioned earlier in this video, you can overexpose it by however many stops you want. But when it comes to underexposing, this really doesn't work for Redscale. I've actually shot Redscale once at its box speed, and it did not turn out well at all. So on this image, I shot it at box speed without overexposing, and as you can see, it is a little underexposed. Not a lot of details in the shadows. Versus this image where I shot it one stop overexposed, and as you can probably tell, it's a lot better. So yeah, there you have it. That's how you roll a roll of Redscale film. Now that you know how to roll your own Redscale film at home, I suggest you go do that and go away. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Let me know if you enjoyed the red photos or the color corrected photos, and also let me know down below in the comments if you ever shot Redscale film yourself, if you are interested in shooting Redscale film yourself, or if you just wasted 10 minutes of your life watching this video. If you somewhat enjoyed this video, please leave me a thumbs up. It really helps me out a lot. With all that being said, until next time.